Financial Survival Network, helping you to survive and thrive in the new economy. This is the Financial Survival Network.
Are you concerned about the future? Not sure where to put your savings? What about the 2-year decline in gold and silver? Then you need to come to the Liberty Mastermind Symposium. The clock is ticking, countdown to collapse. You know something's not right. The dominoes are falling. The emerging currencies are in free fall. What does it all mean? Forget about the mainstream media. They never see anything coming. Where were they? They missed the crash in 2008, and no doubt they'll miss the next one too. You can bet on that. Come to the second Liberty Mastermind Symposium on February 21st and 22nd of this month in Las Vegas. You'll hear from 15 alternative media economic thought leaders. Present will be Wayne Allen Root, Jeff Berwick, Daniel McAdams, Andrew Hoffman, Elijah Johnson, Gregory Manarino, Tekoa De Silva, Daryl Robert Schoon, Daniel Amaduri, Seth Peretzman, Robert Ian, Mickey Fulp, Jerry Robinson, Gary Christensen, Turd Ferguson, myself, Kerry Lutz, David Morgan, Kevin Drost, and of course my partner, Alan Butler. There's no other program like this, I promise you. Go to libertymastermind.us and sign up today. It's in Las Vegas on February 21st and 22nd this month. Program is a must if you're unsure what to do. You'll get virtually unfettered access to all the speakers. That's libertymastermind.us. If you need a plan for the coming times, you gotta go to libertymastermind.us. I look forward to seeing all of you there. And everyone attending the Friday night dinner with keynote speaker Wayne Allen Root will receive a free e-copy of my book, Forget Wall Street, Go for the Gold and Silver Too. FSN, it's about what's next. Well, it is February 13th. Gold just broke 1,300. Significant number for sure. Will momentum traders kick in? Well, let's find out about that. We've got our friend on, Peter Grandich. Peter, how are you today?
Very good, Kerry. Thank you for having me as always.
Hey, so some significant trends are happening. I mean, we saw this almost from the first of the year. The entire psychology complexion of the precious metals market has totally changed, hasn't it?
Yeah, we actually started to get a whiff of it in late fall last year. We saw that the paper market, the Crimex or the Comex, which it's officially called, was losing the momentum to the downside, despite all its efforts to take the paper market substantially lower, all the articles, all the constant barraging that, gold is dead and 800 is here we come. We saw that momentum waning. Now, of course, because a lot of people think in calendar years, we knew that the pressure could remain towards the end of the year. As you said, as soon as the new year took hold, we've seen a reversal. We've seen a thing that you and I have spoken on numerous occasions, and it's winning as we said it would over time, and that is the physical market remained very strong. And I have to emphasize this again to people in case they missed our conversations. When you have something that's supposedly going down because people don't want to own it, like when there was oil shortages and if you had a big car and it was a gas guzzler, you couldn't sell it for no money. When the real estate market went bad and you try to put your house on the market, there was nothing but sellers. When the paper market started coming down 2 years ago through the end of last year, the physical market saw the reverse. It saw more and more people wanting to buy. And in fact, at times, the physical market was willing to pay a substantial premium over the price of what gold was trading in the paper market, which we argued at the time, not for many ears that wanted to listen, that was a signal that the paper move was not the real move. And what I believe is now happened is the paper market, the paper hangers, I like to call them on the Crimex, they've been caught. And now they have a problem because we are now at a very critical number as you and I speak. Just a few dollars up higher from here lays the 200-day moving average. And if you're not a technical-oriented person, that may mean nothing to you. But so much money now trades in the world through momentum traders, commodity funds, hedge funds, and they trade strictly on technical signals. They don't care. They can't even spell maybe the commodity or even know what it does. But if a chart suddenly signals something to them, they will chase money or sometimes they will short it. We will get such a momentum inflow of capital on gold getting above and closing above its 200-day moving average. And combine that with what I believe is a paper market that's still extremely short. It's like I said a few weeks ago, I know when we spoke, I said once we got above 1275, 1280, we could have a very fast run to 1350, 1400. And I really think that can happen before the end of the month.
Yeah, and the other two commodities I'm watching here, platinum broke 1,400 a few days ago, and oil is up at $100. Interesting confluence. I don't know if they're related or not, but they all seem to be moving higher.
Yeah, I think platinum gets lost. I think people, silver bugs don't like when I say this, but platinum is a precious metal, as is gold. Silver, not really, in terms of this fairly ample supply that certainly comes out of production and so forth. But the silver, gold, platinum, and palladium are members of the precious metals group. So when people say, I like the precious metals, more times than not, they only include gold and silver. But in this particular case, platinum, too, is in a renewed uptrend as well. And the oil market, which many people thought was going to fall sharply, did get to the low 90s, but now it's back above $100. And this just kind of bodes well for these commodities. And while I don't think they move tandem day to day, I think there is a reflection. But I think right now, especially going into a Friday, if we can get gold, say, above 1308, 1310 tomorrow, and on to get a weekly close above the 200-day moving average, I can see a lot of funds get buy signals, and over the coming days after that, see a lot more money flow into the gold market.
Yeah, and two other things, one of which we discussed before, the other which we didn't. The NFP report, 2 months in a row, numbers come out, and gold doesn't get hammered. All right, for the past year and a half or 2 years, you and I, we would get on the interview, and NFP numbers would come out, or they'd be coming out, and we'd say, just watch, they're going to slam gold and silver. And like clockwork, almost every single, in the eve of the NFP report, non-farm payroll report, gold would get slammed anywhere from $10 to $30, $60 the ounce. Didn't happen the past 2 months.
Yeah, that was a clue to the turn that was taking change, and also that the paper hangers, who basically the people behind those type of moves, were losing control of their market.
Right, and then the other thing is we got a new Fed chairman, chairwoman, and the tapering that supposedly is taking place that I'm skeptical of myself, Peter, because where are they getting the money to pay the deficit? But they're tapering supposedly $10 billion each month. They're going to do it. And the metals are going up in what should be a deflationary move. And that should be bad for gold. And gold is going up in the face of that so-called tapering. I don't believe it. And it's doing exactly what it shouldn't be doing. Doesn't make any sense, does it?
No, but I think the other agenda that I think has been clear, and that is that there has been a strong movement in Asia, and particularly China, towards much more exposure to gold. We're getting not only the physical reports, we're seeing numerous exchanges open, and we're really seeing the West, or the COMEX, I can't get away from calling them the Crimex, because there's been a lot of crimes committed, in my opinion, in the last few years there, lose control of the paper market. And not only is going to serve the physical market well. So I just think we're in a very good spot. We had a terrible, severe correction in a mega bull market, but let's not forget anything that went up for 12 years in a row was entitled to go down for a year, no matter how painful it was. And that, as bad as it was living through it, will actually serve now for an extremely healthy new foundation, well above 1,000 an ounce, and allow us now to explore, I think, minimally this year, what was once significant support, which is going to be critical resistance in the 1,500 to 1,550 area, and may take a few probes, and sometimes those probes can go backwards a little before they're finally penetrated. But I think that's the minimum target for this year. And then depending on how things happen, geopolitical, economically, what have you, we could start talking about the old highs, but I would save that for at least 12 to 18 months off from here. But right now, I think everybody listening would be happy with a 25% move to the upside in gold this year.
Oh, for sure. It's up already 5% in this month, for the past 30 days, I should say. And one other interesting note here is that Kitco has now got a Bitcoin section. I don't know if you caught that.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, they've got a Bitcoin section in Kitco. I don't know what it means. I guess it means that Bitcoin is going mainstream now, truly, because, if you're going to go look for Bitcoin prices, you probably would prefer to go to a mainstream site like Kitco rather than looking for all these places on Google. And you've got a planning service that financial planning service wanted to mention. Oh
yeah, we never really get a chance. I appreciate that, Kerry. My other hat, which has become my dominant hat now, is working in a process that really is against traditional financial planning. No matter where someone goes these days in the United States, processes are pretty well the same, even though they might now have a lot of computers and bells and whistles. The problem is all those plans will almost never reach their stated goal because four things that make up a financial plan, none of us, including me and you, could ever predict on a regular basis, and that's interest rates, tax rates, inflation rates, and rates of returns. So what inevitably happens when people sit down with traditional planners, which is 99% of people, sooner or later one or more of the things that they had hoped to achieve doesn't happen. So I was taught almost 15 years ago by my financial mentor a process that is different, and it really focuses on cash flow. Now, the younger you are, the less interested you are in cash flow. You get caught up in what Wall Street teaches you, and that is all about trying to make your net worth higher. But the bottom line is, and I know you're a seasoned veteran, Kerry, most businesses owners will tell you their success or failure was not based on their net worth, but how they handled cash flow. And so the process that we work with people is teaching them, enhancing them cash flow. But I'll let your listeners in on a little secret. It's not very complicated. On Wall Street, Kerry, people like to make things seem like they're complicated, so you absolutely need them. But I'll tell your listeners, 2 sets of letters, if they learn and appreciate it, they'll be at third base and hitting a home run in their plan already. The first is something called an LOC, or what that stands for is a loss opportunity cost. You ask most people, if you lost $20, how much did you lose? They'll tell you $20. But the fact of the matter is, in the real money world, when you lose it, you not only lost it, but you lost the opportunity of what it could make. People have all sorts of loss opportunity costs in whatever they're doing. We find it for them, show it, and put it right on the right back side of the ledger. And the last of the 2 things that are extremely important, you were probably old enough to remember because our parents talked about this guy. You remember Willie Sutton, Kerry?
Oh, sure. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Young kids don't remember, but Willie Sutton was a famous bank robber, and he had a famous quote that our parents knew. The quote was, he robbed banks because that's where the money was. The problem with Willie was he was half right. Instead of robbing them, he should have opened one. Because a bank is very smart. I always ask people, what does a bank manufacture? What product does it build? And they all say nothing. Bank learned a long time ago, and this is the key to successful money management, far more than what fund you own or who's your money manager, what have you. A bank takes in a deposit. And years ago, they used to have to give us a toaster or something if we left it there. Now they just give us 1% and show us out the door. But nevertheless, they get a deposit from a person and they give them one return on it. Well, they take that money and on average lend it out 2, 3, sometimes 4 different times. They learned the secret to money, and that's called the velocity of money. And the way I like your listeners after they're done listening to your show is to do this, is to take a penny with a calculator and double it. And then when you have 2 cents, double it again and keep doubling. And if you ask most people that don't know the answer to this, how long before you have over $1 million? Many people say months or years. But the actual answer is 26 days. Sounds impossible, but when we're done with this interview, do it on your calculator. And what that teaches, why I use that as an example, is to show velocity of money. The longer money is able to grow without hindered by fees and taxes and things not necessary that eat away at it, the better it can perform. And that's really what I do in this planning process. We don't have a black box. We don't have a secret fund or something that's going to double or triple the money. In fact, we suggest to people, if they're still interested in the investment end, that they stick with the people who are going to do the investment side. What we like to tell people is, if you got a Chevy, when we're done, we're not returning a Rolls Royce to you. We're just returning a Chevy that's more efficient and effective. And it's a process that I really wish people would look into. I would suggest if anybody has interest that they contact you, and you could forward me their names and we'll let them know about it. But whether they use us or not, those 2 things that I spoke about, Kerry, if people would learn it and appreciate it, they would be much better off than they're going to be with the financial plan they have right now.
Oh, no doubt. I've learned that in the School of Hard Knocks myself. Cash flow is king. Forget about the capital gains. Although if you've got an investment that's yielding a cash flow, and then you can sell it off and get a capital gain, that's nice too. But looking at cash flow, it really is king. So on that note, Peter, thanks so much for coming on short notice. Yeah, I think these markets are really turning, and we're going to see some amazing things in the months and probably not too distant years ahead, because they're just set up to go. That's for sure.
Well, thank you very much, Kerry.
All right. And financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Just look at the show notes there. We'll have a link for Peter. And you can always email me, KHL@kerrylutz.com. Peter, we'll talk with you again real soon.
Thank you, Kerry.
Our friend Tom Dyson at the Palm Beach Letter is giving away free copies of a really cool report he put together called How to Protect Yourself from America's New Secret Police. Inside, you'll learn all sorts of simple, everyday tricks you can use to make yourself a little less visible and vulnerable to scammers, hackers, and even the federal government. For instance, inside Tom's report, you'll learn which free internet email service never to use. This company doesn't care if your account gets hacked or not, or things the government must tell you if they request your social security number, and how to spot skimmers lying in wait on ATMs and gas pumps, and much, much more. These tricks and secrets are low-hanging fruit ideas. You don't have to invest time or much money into them. Most are free. But by taking some basic measures, you can make your privacy much harder to invade than your neighbors. Tom's report is available for a limited time to listeners who take a trial subscription to his newsletter. Just visit the Financial Survival Network homepage for more information, or go to www.palmbeachletter2.com. That's www.palmbeachletter2.com. Hi, it's Kerry Lutz. I recently decided to move my retirement account into physical precious metals to hedge against the coming times. If you want to move an existing retirement account into physical precious metals, that you can hold in your hand, tax-free. There's no company that can do it more quickly and efficiently than Regal Assets. It took them just 24 hours to open my new IRA account, and all I had to do was fill out one simple form. The best part is that Regal Assets does all the work for you. They cover the setup and administrative costs for 2013. If you're interested in making the same move I did, call 855-678-6620, 855-678-6620. That's 855-678-6620, or visit them at regalassets.com. You'll be glad you did, and tell them Kerry sent you.
The Financial Survival Network, helping you to survive and thrive in the new economy. This is the Financial Survival Network.